Your network is your net worth, folks, and check this out. At the end of the day, if there's a predictable way for you to figure out how to maximize that and speed it up by turning decades into days and create acceleration, stay tuned for the rest of this video because I'm going to dig deep into little action steps that you can apply immediately and put you in a position to prosper. How to become a networking master, and the first thing I'm going to say is stop networking. More to come on that, so stay tuned on this video because I'm going to explain exactly the difference between networking, which gives you 1 0, and merging ecosystems, which will give you multiple zeros. But right now, we're in a recession, 2023, and at the end of the day, it's real important to understand whatever's happening doesn't mean that's going to be your future. If you begin to invest in the real estate between your ears and surround yourself with folks that could take you to the next step, you're going to put yourself in a position to prosper because you're going to start hearing things you haven't heard before. Remember, wherever we are right now in this moment, as this video is being done, as you hear this video, is a collection of your own thoughts and actions over the last 5, 10, 15 years. You could always change. At any given point, there could be a trajectory shift, and it's up to you. Like I always say, if it is to be, it's up to me. So networking, a way to expand your circle of acquaintances and increase your awareness of news and trends in your industry or the world. That's true. If you expand your circle, you may hear certain things that you didn't know about before. You may begin to speak a different language, maybe stepping into a different type of business and may be able to have a different perspective. But remember, you want to make sure that whoever you're networking with, you understand who they are, what their background is, what their strengths are, and not just to jump all in because you may not know some of the things that they're not telling you about. But number one, if we look at network with people that aren't like you, love that. You're the average of your 5 best friends. Surround yourself with people that are currently making millions more than you are. So a lot of times I'll do a video and I'll say, who's your top 5, right? Who's your top 5 right now? I'll tell you mine. Sean Callagy, Chris Crone, Bill Spadia, Randy Garn, David Meltzer. That's my top 5, right? That was not my top 5 a year ago. That was not my top 5 3 years ago. That was not my top 5 5 years ago. The collective science of those top 5 those top 5 people is north, the net worth is in the billions. And at the end of the day, you look at their social media presence and their businesses, there's many, many different businesses associated with that top 5. So if I'm going to stand on the shoulders of those guys, and if I'm going to be able to follow their path, I got to become a big student. I got to be able to be a good listener, and I got to be able to follow direction in a way that I've never done before. And that's when we talk about your top 5 in business. But you may have a top 5, like if your kids are in high school and there's parents that you're friends with, that's a separate top 5, right? That's a different top 5 where, your kids play basketball or soccer together. You may, if you work out a lot, you may have a top 5 in working out. Or if you're, into nutrition, you may have a top 5 in nutrition. The point is, you could have multiple top 5s, but make sure there's a congruency there and you understand exactly how that could positively impact you. Building trust through giving. Okay, now, one of my partners always says to me, give with no expectation except appreciation. I love that. Networking is typically transactional. This is where they get in a diner every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. and somebody buys this from Mary and Mary buys from Joe something else. And it's like, all right, they just bought something from each other, but there's really not any movement. So typically it's transactional. Many deals fall through with this kind of networking because at the end of the day, they start to get to know each other and they're not built on a foundation of trust and friendship. Instead, serve someone to earn their friendship and trust. And that doesn't mean you still have to, they're going to give you something. So remember, all the folks that I've worked with, I've given my heart and soul to, I've given my time to. And yes, listen, there is a law of reciprocity. It's one of the 6 tools of persuasion. But just because I'm going to give to Frank over here, or if I'm going to give to Weber, or if I'm going to give to Jonathan, that doesn't mean they have to give me something back. The point is, if you genuinely care about other people, and if you genuinely want to help other people, what'll happen is the universe will conspire. And if you can start doing stuff like that, your game will change significantly. Here's the thing. What I did from 2015 on, I started to go to paid events. Go into paid events, and I'm not knocking free events, right? Because I'll also have a meetup, which is for free, just to kind of drop knowledge and gain some friendship. But paid events is where the real education. I talk about invest in the real estate between your ears. Don't just go to a paid event. Go to a paid event and play all out. Top level investors typically attend to premium events. These can be expensive, but you get what you pay for. Listen, I joined the Tony Robbins world, and this was back in 2017. I had the good fortune of meeting Chris Crone, Sean Callaghy. I met Sean before Tony, actually, and then Sean brought me and Chris together. And this is what I'm talking about, where proximity is power. Make no mistake about it. When you're in proximity, that's half the battle, but you better do your part. Just because you can get a dopamine hit because somebody gives you a hug and says they love you, that doesn't mean anything until you're giving and you're contributing and you're adding more value. You want to make yourself valuable to all these people, so you got to figure out what your strengths are. You know what mine are? I discovered my two gifts. It's listening, right? Deep listening and communication. I never knew what those gifts were until the last couple of years, but once I discovered those gifts, I began to jump in with 2 feet. And I am a very good listener, probably because I'm sober since 1996. I've done interventions, and I know what it's like to get another alcoholic into a either recovery center or into a meeting, and it requires deep listening. But proximity is power. If you could get proximity with people that are the best in the world, things that happen because all the people they know, they could save you a decade of time by one insight. That's called the distinction. That's called sensory acuity. Let me read that back one more time. Proximity is power. If you could get proximity with people that are the best in the world, things can happen because all of the people they know, they could save you a decade of time by one insight. Let me tell you a quick story. It took me 6 months to go from 1 meeting to 2 meetings with Sean Callaghy. Sean Callaghy is my coach, mentor, brother, partner. He's the guy that put me where I am right now. It took me 6 minutes to form a partnership with Chris Crone because of Sean Callaghy. At the end of the day, that 6 minutes with Chris Crone has turned decades into days with our business model. 2 ecosystems coming together to serve the greater good of this community, our community, by providing education, not only monetarily, but also peak performance mindset. And at the end of the day, if you could understand that, that's been our trade secret. And the rinse and repeat model is, hey, go find more Sean Callaghys, go find more Chris Crones. They don't have to be 100%, but they could be a percentage of, and begin to rinse and repeat that model. And that's been our secret. Listen, we have a really cool financial planning company, a one-stop shop financial planning for small executive business owners, corporate executives, family-oriented people. But at the end of the day, you know what we're really good at? High-level marketing. And if you could market at a high level and be able to have people come to your front door to hear your good message of financial freedom, financial abundance, from a shift from financial scarcity, and be able to have the people in your organization handle those meetings, well, you just hit what they call rare air. What Epic brings to the table is a one-stop shop financial planning wellness center for individuals, corporate executives, business owners, entrepreneurs like yourself, where you could real-time at the click of a button have all of your information on one page that aggregates not only daily, but every 30 minutes. So all your decision making is based on logic, math, and science, not emotional timidity. Go ahead and click that link below. Get proximity with one of my team members here. They will take you through the success process. Take a look at the financial freedom map. Not only show you where you are, but show you how to get to where you want to go without being on the back road where there's stop signs, dirt roads, and potholes. You'll get on the highway, stay in your own lane. Don't go, if you stay in your lane, there's no traffic. If you get in other people's lane, that's where it gets a little choppy. Stay in your lane. These folks will take you through the process. There's no obligation. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Thanks for checking us out.